What is up, everyone? So, very rarely do I brew a deck that I'm actually a little bit scared of. But that just happened. So, yeah, let's take a look. Alright, folks, so we are on the number 2 deck of the top 5 brews of March of the Machines. This is a Grixis Hidetsugu Combo deck. Yes, you heard that right. Combo in Standard. So before we get into it, if you can press that like button, that would do so much for this channel and for this video. It takes half a second, but it means a sure a lot to me and to the channel. So I really appreciate it if you could do that. All right, so let's take a look at the combo. So this deck is built around 2 cards, Hidetsugu and Kairi, and Explosive Singularity. So Explosive Singularity is a card that you probably didn't even know was in Standard, but it's a 10 mana spell that says a lot of words, but the most important one is Explosive Singularity deals 10 damage to any target. So 10 mana spell, 10 damage to any target. Keep that in mind. All right. Now let's look at Hidetsugu and Kairi. So Hidetsugu and Kairi is a 5 mana, 5 floor flying creature that says when it enters the battlefield, draw 3 cards and put 2 from your hand on the top of your library in any order. And when it dies, exile the top card of your library. Target opponent loses life equal to the mana value. And if it's an instant or sorcery, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. So, if you get to trigger on the Explosive Singularity, the opponent loses 10 life, and you cast it and deal 10 damage to their face. So therefore, 20 damage, you win the game, right? All right, so that's the combo, and we spent the rest of the deck trying to figure out a way to ensure that we're going to have those 2 cards in our hand to be able to pull off the combo. So yeah, let's take a look. So in the 1 mana slot, we got 2 creatures. We got Goldhound, and we have Voldaren Epicure. And Goldhound is a 1 mana 1/1 first strike menace creature, which is decent. It can block some things like it can trade with Thalia, it can block some small creatures, but more importantly, it has this ability: sacrifice Goldhound, add 1 mana of any color. So it's effectively a treasure when you need it to be a treasure, which is important for this combo because we want to cast this combo as early as possible. And if we have a Goldhound down, now we can cast the combo on turn 4 instead of turn 5. All right. Voldaren Epicure is just a decent 1 mana creature that gives you a blood token. And we can sack the creature for value. We can also sack the blood token and discard and draw to try to find our combo pieces. And then finally, we have Corrupted Conviction, which is kind of like the new Village Rites card. Lets us sacrifice a creature and draw 2 cards. So we can use these early mana creatures to block opponents and then sacrifice them and draw cards with this to kind of help us find our combo and to stall the game out a little bit. Then we have a lot of other ways to use that in the 2 mana slot. So we have a little chat, which is just a decent draw spell that also has Casualty 1, meaning we can sacrifice creatures if we want to dig a little bit deeper into our deck. We also have Diabolic Intent, which is a tutor effect. So if we're missing one of our combo pieces, we can use this. We can sack one of these guys, and we can definitely find whichever piece we're missing of the Singularity or Hidetsugu. Final Flourish is a decent removal that we can also use to sack a creature or an artifact to deal extra, to do more removal, like a better removal. And then we also just have standard removals here: Go for the Throat and Infernal Grasp. And you'll kind of see why we've chosen these removals and things like that in just a second. And then the 3 mana slot, we've got Wandering Mind. It's a 3 mana, 2/1 flying. Body is not that important, but it lets us dig even further into our deck for the Explosive Singularity, because it looks for a non-creature, non-land card from the top 6 of your library and puts it into your hand. So worst case scenario, let's say you don't find your Singularity, maybe you find your Diabolic Intent instead. Well, you now have a body on the board, which you can sacrifice to the Diabolic Intent and find your missing pieces. All right, and then The other 3 mana slot, we have Witness the Future, just a one of. This is kind of maybe early game. We got a handful of Explosive Singularity and some Voldaren Epicures or something like that. So this is too painful. We can't keep them all. So we probably discard some of them into the graveyard. Maybe, you know, we get milled or something like that. So this is an emergency card. Like all my Explosive Singularities got milled or got sent to the graveyard in some way. So I need to put some back in my deck. So that's what that's there for. It's also decent at searching the top 4 to find a card, so it's not bad for that either. But basically, puts your combo pieces back in your deck in emergency cases. All right, and the last card I didn't mention, Cruelty of Gix. This kind of sets up the whole combo for us. The first one doesn't matter so much. The second chapter lets us search our library for any card so we can find our missing combo piece. And then the third part lets us reanimate a creature. So if we have a blood token sitting around from our Epicure, we can even sacrifice that, discard a Hidetsugu, and reanimate it on the third chapter of the saga. And because our second chapter let us find a card, we probably found our singularity. Bada bing, bada boom. We've got the combo, right? All right. So there's one piece to this combo we didn't go over yet. And that is, how do we ensure that we will always get our combo to go off? And that's why we're running so many different sacrifice spells and ways to kill our own creature. Okay, so we have in this deck Go for the Throat, Infernal Grasp, Final Flourish, a little chat, and Corrupted Conviction. So it's 11 different ways that we can sacrifice our own creature or kill our own creature. And how you're going to do it is you spend the early game finding your 2 combo pieces, your Hidetsugu and your Explosive Singularity. This can work, this combo can work without the Singularity in your hand, but it's definitely safer to do it with the Singularity in your hand. Okay, so step 1, you get Hidetsugu. That's a must-have. You need to have that card. Step 2, try to have Explosive Singularity in your hand. Okay? Step 3, get to 5 mana, basically, and play your Hidetsugu. And then step, still step 3, I guess. Put a stop on your upkeep. Then, when your Hidetsugu trigger is going off, put the Explosive Singularity to the top of your library. And either A, your opponent untaps and they kill your Hidetsugu for you. Win-win. You don't have to even worry about it. They just did it for you. Or B, it comes back to your turn. It hits that upkeep stop. Now you're going to cast your Go for the Throat or your Infernal Grasp or one of your other sacrifice spells onto your own Hidetsugu, killing your own Hidetsugu, and triggering the Explosive Singularity to cast for you. So that's how you can guarantee it's going to go off when you want it to go off and which spell it's going to trigger on. If, for some reason, you play the Hidetsugu, you draw your 3 cards, and you still don't have your removal spell after whatever you had in your hand plus 3 cards, then what you can do is you can put the Explosive Singularity second from the top on your library and try to spend your turn finding a way to get it so you can trigger it off. But that's in the emergency situations. So even the emergency, there's a shot. But that's why we have the Diabolic Edicts, that we have the Corrupted Conviction, and the Blood Tokens and stuff like that, that you can find your combo pieces. Sorry about that. And you can make sure that you don't whiff, basically. All right. So this deck seems pretty solid. It seems like there's a good chance that you can actually get this combo to work. It doesn't seem that crazy. Like, really, you just got to find your Hidetsugu. And I think you have enough draw and enough search to make sure that you're going to at least find that. Your Hidetsugu gives you 3 shots to get your last piece of your combo off the top of your library. So it's still pretty decent. Usually that's about like a 12% shot of finding some card. I mean, depends on how early or late in the game it is, but usually about 4% chance per card, something like that. So yeah, you have a pretty decent likelihood of finding the 3rd piece if you have at least 2 of the pieces. So seems pretty doable. Seems honestly pretty doable. Even if, you know, something fails, you can always use that chance to set up for the combo a second time. Maybe you can set it up so you get your cruelty off the top, or your Hidetsugu triggers your, I don't know, diabolic intent or something. You can set up for the next sequence of the combo. So not all lost if it doesn't work out the first time. But yeah, that's the combo deck. The lands are pretty normal. I mean, we got Sokanzan and Takanuma to help us make sure we don't miss anything, but for the most part, yeah, that's the deck. It seems like it could be a Splinter Twin type situation. So I'm a little bit scared about this. I mean, it doesn't seem that crazy to get those two pieces and to do the combo. Turn 5, usually you're not dead by turn 5, so it doesn't seem unlikely that like you could make it to that point to get the combo off. So yeah, we're definitely gonna try it out in the early access event, and we're gonna have one more brew coming up tomorrow, and then the early access event is on the 14th. So be there or be square, and we're gonna be over on Twitch. Hope all of you can make it there. Check it out. And yeah, until next time, hope you're enjoying your time on the ladder before the next set. Only a few more days now, but until next time, see ya.